Online at IrieJamRadio.com.
It's Irie Jam Radio Sports.
Sports Caribbean. Sports.
This is Irie Jam Sports, and I am Eroll Walters.
Next on the decks.
Irie Jam Radio Sports.
So excited, you made my day.
Sports Extra.
The World Athletics Championships in Tokyo.
And now sports commentaries.
I'm Eroll Walters. Tune in with Omilia Sports, Daniel Jarrett, and Kemal Forde on Irie Jam Sports.
97 point.
Number 1. HD3.
Live coverage of the World Athletics Championship.
IrieJamRadio.com.
Turn up.
Tell someone about
97.
The HD3.
Irie Jam Radio.
We will be bringing you all the news, all the excitement, all the attractions.
Sports Extra with
Eroll Walters.
Irie Jam Radio.
Sports.
Tune in.
Irie Jam Radio Sports.
Coverage.
Celebrates at the line. That's a new lifetime best.
It's another beautiful Wednesday evening. You're locked in to the Caribbean Heartbeat, the pulse of the Caribbean. We're talking about that Irie Jam Radio 97.1 FM HD3 across that New York tri-state area. Globally at that www.iriejamradio.com and in every nook and cranny in your pocket. All courtesy of our mobile app, whether you got it in the Google Play or Apple App Store. It is your favorite After Dark show, Roddy for the Road, with your host, your presenter, yours truly, your DJ Roddy G. And as we continue our coverage of the World Athletics Championships happening in Tokyo, we're going to have another evening of commentary, analysis, and prospecting on the games. But before, let me drop this one from my brethren Torch. Our athletes are on a mission, and all the naysayers will be put to shame. World Athletics Championships. Also the bad mindset. Our athletes are on a mission. They're there in Tokyo, giving it their all. And we're going to be giving you that coverage, that insight, those highlights, our commentary on everything that's happening on the field and off the field. To do so, we have our lead, our chief sportscaster, Mr. Eroll Walters. Let's say welcome to Eroll. Well, go on, Eroll.
All is well, Roddy G. Thank you so much.
It's a joy, my brethren. And of course, not just the Eroll, but an elite team of sports analysts. We're talking about the man, Mr. Daniel Jarrett. Daniel, greetings.
Blessings, DJ Roddy.
And Kemal, Mr. Forde, is in the building. Kemal, pick up yourself. What go on?
Yeah, man, what go on?
Sid. Yo, listen, for the folks locked in on Irie Jam Radio, you have to get the full experience. You got to look, you got to see and watch, so you get that app so you can have the full experience of this presentation, because it is an audiovisual presentation. So make sure that you also log on to the website at www.iriejamradio.com IrieJamRadio.com. Without further ado, I know it's We the People Wednesday, but for the first hour of the show, it's all about commentary on the World Athletics Championships. So I hand you over to Eroll Walters and the team.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Good night, good evening, good morning. Welcome to another episode of What is Happening in Tokyo. I'm joined by my esteemed co-presenters, Mr. Daniel Jarrett and Mr. Kemal Forde, Omilia Sports. They have been providing us with a week of stars, celebrities, stats, predictions, and we're halfway on the journey. So today we're going to be joined by the coach of coaches, Mr. Okeile Stewart. I'm going to also have my very good friend, Mr. Richard Blackwood, who is a fanatic, and he's going to join us from a fan perspective, because what we've had all week is talking about hearing it from the experts, hearing it from the athletes. Now we're going to hear it from the coach. But I also want Richard Blackwood to tell us what it's like from a fan perspective. But welcome, Mr. Okeile Stewart. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Eroll. It's good to be here, man.
Pleasure, absolute pleasure. So, listen, we had a bit of a bad result today, you and I, I always say, I said to Malik, listen, he did his best, and sometimes, it's life, it's athletics. What was your conversation with Roshawn to start off with?
Pretty much, as you know, I mean, Roshawn has been battling some injuries throughout this season. Started out in the Grand Slam. As a matter of fact, he started out the season quite well. We got down to a 44.98 PB in the 400 and set the tone for what we anticipated would have been one of his best seasons yet in his career. But injury set in, during the Grand Slam in Miami, and we have been back on the back leg from ever since. But needless to say, I think he was in good shape. In the heats, he misjudged the race a little bit based on my observation, and got pushed down into fifth and qualified on time, and that pushed him into lane 2 way down in the back. And for a 6'3", 6'4" guy coming from out of lane 2, it's always going to be a challenge, having not been as race sharp as we would have liked. But I believe he did. He made a courageous effort, and proud of him for that. We from now on we look forward to see where we make some errors in the build up, where what we did right, and we try to build from there. But I try to encourage him. It is one of the first championship that he would have been missing out on the finals, and he's a part of the sport. As we don't own the event, we just compete in the event, and we try to be as best as we can on the day, each and every time. For this championship, it wasn't for him, but we will move forward.
So Kemal, it's a fast track, but we're seeing some fast times in the hurdles. What is your take on because I know you and Daniel kept saying these are barriers. So it's the one event that everyone fears, because we're jumping over barriers that sometimes can play a role in our demise. So
Definitely. I mean, the men in the 400-meter hurdles were blazing, running 47s from the first round, something that you don't necessarily expect to happen in the first round. And to see that majority of the men all 7 of the 8 finalists had to run under 48 seconds to make that final, shows the depth in the event. Roshawn Clarke had a tough fight there by himself there in lane 2, tried to make a lot of tried to basically get himself back into the race, and everything didn't work out. For me, based on my observation, had he had a better lane, he would have basically been easily inside 47 seconds and been one of those automatic qualifiers. Tough luck for Malik James King as well, who ran 47 as well, but unfortunately didn't make the final, which was they left that depth in the event. The three fastest men of all time, Carson Warholm, Ray Benjamin, and Alison Dos Santos have all made it as well. Tough luck for Jamaican men, which really shows that the 400 meter hurdles has been extremely competitive. One of the questions that I'd like to ask Coach Stewart is that given Roshawn's performances this season, he has gone 44.98 seconds over the 400 meters. I think he did that at Jamaica College, right? He did that at Jamaica College. Given his current shape, is he fit enough to be able to give up a leg on the 4x4 if he's called upon?
I think Roshawn is in good shape. I mean, and I believe, once you're in a championship and, you're a patriotic enough, I believe if the country call upon you and you can give up yourself, I believe it's something that you should. I also believe that we have also fine quarter milers here that can also be called upon. So, I mean, whichever the coaches who are responsible for the relay teams decide, then I believe, they will make the best decision.
So, Coach, Roshawn, is not in the finals. What are the plans going forward? Because next year we just have, Daniel, the Commonwealth Games next year, isn't it? So, what do we do with the athletes next year?
Well, okay. So Daniel,
go
ahead.
ahead. Take it on, Coach. Take it on, man.
Daniel, let me hear what you have to say first. Let me hear what you have to say first.
Well, what do we do with the athletes? I mean, first and foremost, I think it's very important. One of the most important part of the season, while it is that the athletes train all year for competition, I think another important part of the season is off season, right? And so one would have to approach the off season first before they take on the following season. So Roshawn, at this point in time, I know that Roshawn is disappointed. I know that Malik James King is also disappointed. However, I know that one of these days, these young men are going to put this disappointment behind them, because I know that they are very headstrong, right? A former athlete commented on the fact that champs and participating at champs really builds your mental fortitude. And so I know that they are strong enough to recover from what happened in Tokyo. And that is what I'm really looking forward to, the off season, and seeing them just enjoying themselves and preparing themselves again for the season next year. Competing at Commonwealth, Coach, I think that question is for you.
I mean, they rightly put it just now. The plan right now is just to recover, and to assess what would have happened this year, and to see what we can put in place to have a better season come next year. At this point in time, also, in the off season, that's where the coach, the manager, as well as the athlete would sit and look at what is there and plan ahead. And the plan would come about based on, as I said, what you want to achieve, what would have happened, and how you see the future of the athlete. So yes, there may be a Commonwealth Games, and it may be on the mind of most competitors at this time. As well, there are others who may be trying to achieve other things for future competitions after next year, and may need to put some things in place, because everything is a stepping stone as to what you want to achieve. And I know Eroll can attest to that, having working with athletes at this level as well, in Malik James King. And I should also point out that Malik, I think, is 9th on the ranking right now, so he's on the bubble. If there's an opportunity, if somebody should pull out, then there's an opportunity for him to be in the final. So he's keeping his mind sharp. He's keeping in check just in case. He will be at the warm-up track, warming up, ready to go if there's an opportunity.
Decent.
I call a friend, Mr. Richard Blackwood. Richard is an author, an artist, a Jamaican, a Kingston College old boy, and a massive athletic fan. And I invited Richard on today because I wanted to get a fan perspective. Richard, what question have you got for Coach Okeile Stewart?
Well, well, first of all, let me say thanks for having me. You guys have been doing a fantastic job. Took the time last night to follow the program. The fact that you brought Ian Forbes on answered a lot of unasked questions, if you will. I never knew you had that diplomacy thing about you, Eroll, but you scored. You said Daniel, I laugh because but I figure you went a little easy on him because he's a JC old boy. But having said that, I thought he gave a pretty good account of himself. Championships always challenging for Jamaica as a track country. I just to give a little perspective, I remember in 2000 and after 2016 when Usain and company basically stepped away, I had made a projection that it would have taken us 10 years to get back to the semblance of where I see us now getting, because I think a significant component of our team had basically been in place for the better part of almost 10, 12 years. And so that replacement wasn't coming through. So what we're seeing happening here now is really, really pleasing to watch as a fan. The track dominance is not that it is not there. It certainly is not what we as fans had become accustomed to over that 10, 12 year period. But it was a really, really great experience watching. First of all, the silence Noah Lyles, and I love Noah Lyles. Let me tell you, that man who loves the track and field. I think Lyles good for the sport. But for a lot of Jamaicans, I think Lyles kind of chat. Oblique Seville finally gave an excellent account of himself. I see where some criticisms being leveled at Kishian, which I thought was kind of unnecessary, because you said it last night, Eroll. There are some 8 billion people in the world. You have 150 odd, 60 odd countries participating in the World Championships, and when you can put a group of Jamaicans out there who running with the best of the best and giving a phenomenal account of themselves, I think we need to, we don't want to be taking that for granted. So I am really just thrilled to be able to, to see this. This is, I've been following World Championships from a little boy when the thing just started. And to see us at this stage, a big indicator for me was Shelly Ann literally passing the baton over to young Clayton. These are some sites that, as fans, you live for stuff like this. And I just want to big up all of our athletes. No medal, no put on for nobody. And so just to make a final, where you guys were talking about the 400 meters hurdles today. When you have Karsten Warholm, you have my guy from the Dos Santos, you have Wright Benjamin. Listen, just to run with that pack says that you are up there, and on your day is your day. But to medal in a final like that, let me tell you something. I'm just happy that our athletes gave an excellent account of themselves. Particularly our youngster, Jarrett too, which was kind of sad, but no disgrace.
So coach, as Richard is saying, Roshawn is a youngster, so he has a bright future ahead of him, right? So, and as we alluded to, 8 billion people on the planet, so he is a world beater. So, how does he, handle today? I know you've spoken to him, but he's human. How is he handling today? What is his plans and immediate plans after you guys leave Tokyo? And for the rest of the year, the end of the season?
As I rightly put, I mean, the thing about it, there is no blueprint as how to handle disappointments. I mean, everybody, handle the situation different. Him as a person, when he goes to his room, he's in his own head. You don't really know what he's thinking. You may ask to share, they share whatever they want to share. But as the support team, myself, his manager QBC Gobin, we will, rally with him. His other manager back in Jamaica, McIntosh Maynard. We will sit with him, see where his mindset is at. Plan what is it that we need to do to make him a better athlete, and a better person. For me, it's awesome. It's not something that we're going to just pull things out of the hat and say, hey, this is what we're going to do. It will be a team effort, and for us to really make the right decision. So as it is right now, there's no immediate plans until we have that meeting and decide where we go from there.
Right. As Richard talked about, and Daniel and Kemal, the times that Warhol and Benjamin are doing are phenomenal. And the one thing, when I look at the hurdles and I look at Warhol and the technology that they have, Coach, how do you compete with those guys?
Well, as you know, everything is moving at a different pace these days. I mean, we are trying to get as educated as we possibly can, network as best as we possibly can, and that's why even in Jamaica, I mean, we as young coaches, I can speak for myself, Gregory Little, Walcott, and the other young coaches, we do talk from time to time and we share ideas, because that is how we believe we can stay close or get ahead of the competition. Because I mean, there's a lot of things that are changing, and in order to really be competitive, you have to be in the know. So for us right now is just to network as much as possible and to try to be in the know so we can prepare our athletes the best way possible.
Kemal, Warhol, is he human?
We have seen that Warhol is human and then all of this, where despite being the world record holder, has been to several championships where hasn't looked the best. 2022, had to rebound and come back in 2023, won 2024 Paris, silver and everything. Overall, we can say that as good as Warhol is, Wright Benjamin has been the most consistent athlete in the event based on podium, because Wright Benjamin is the only one to have mounted every podium in this championship cycle since 2021. Again, today, I didn't like his strategy today. Like, he wanted to get that lane 7. It's the magical world record lane. Unfortunately, for the final, for his case, he has lane 5. And I just want to see how he runs tomorrow, because runs on Friday, because he definitely have a very competitive competition. Right? Benjamin looks to be someone who's doing a lot of trash talk and everything. Like, I do believe that if all those men run according to plan, definitely we potentially see something within the 45.6, 45.5 type range, world record madness in that event.
Daniel, you heard the war of the words today. Some of the words we can't talk on this platform because we have young people listening. What are your thoughts on the exchange with Benjamin and Warhol?
I never saw the exchange with Wright Benjamin and Warhol.
Oh, you got it. You got it.
I should have heard, but I didn't hear. But what I can say is that while it is that I haven't really gotten a chance to be around Rye or Karsten, I would have gotten a chance to be around Allison. And he's a cool person. At least one out of the 3. Really, really cool. Looks to be someone who is very focused. I can agree with Kemal, which sometimes Kemal would know that sometimes I tend to challenge him at times, And yeah, but as it relates to a world record, I would have made an assessment yesterday. Being that Karsten, when he broke that first world record, 45.94, I believe, in 2090, so
2021.
2021. Yes, 2021 at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, right? When he broke that record, his personal best that season was 46.2 prior to breaking that world record, right? Which was a world record in and of itself. That is his personal best this season as well. So, against that background, I think that he is indeed in a world record breaking shape. Another thing is that with Karsten, I watched his race today. I think that he ran a very okay race to me. I don't think he was thrown off at any point in time. I just believe that he literally stopped running to conserve energy closer to the end of the race. And it is something that I see a lot of the athletes do, and I respect it. I still am looking forward to an excellent performance from Karsten. I don't see Rye beating Karsten Varholm. I see him getting a silver, but hopefully that third place is going to be epic. And as I said, I mean, there's the big three, but there are people who are just waiting for a bite at that cake. And if they do get that in that final, then I think Allison is at risk to possibly miss out. But who knows?
Coach, we're gonna put you on the spot. Predictions.
Yeah, you know, you and I, we have been watching the same championships, and as I said, the big three right now looking more so the big two in Benjamin and Warholm has been looking a little bit more comfortable than the others. In the latter part of the season, I mean, I heard that Santos got injured, so maybe that's one of the things that have been affecting him. But he's a champion, and you don't count out a champion. But like what Daniel said earlier on, I mean, there's a lot of guys out there who is looking for the opportunity. And, you know, if they are supposed to make a judgment call or to say who is most vulnerable, yes, the Santos seem to be more vulnerable. And you even alluded to it earlier on, you know, you said this is a hurdle event and anything can happen. But, I mean, Benjamin and Warholm seems to have the edge at this point to for the pole position. 1 and 2. Who's going to take the one? I can't say. Who's going to take number 2? I can't say right now. But third place, based on what I've been seeing, Ezekiel has been looking very well. And I think Samba has been looking fabulously well. So I think it's between those two along with Santos if the top two, you know, hold their own and do what they are expected to do. But this is hurdles.
You know, one of the things in the circles, Roshawn is very highly spoke of, you know. So is that a pressure to him? Because, you know, doing so well as a junior, coming into the senior ranking, how is he handling that pressure? When I see him, he always seems relaxed and so on. But outside of the public domain, what is he like, and how does he handle that type of pressure with that such expectations on him?
On the outs, I mean, based on my observation and my rapport with him, I mean, I don't think it gets to him as much. But we are humans, and as such, we would want to ensure that at all time when we step on the line, we are giving off our best, and we pretty much, we want to, have our fans feeling happy. And there can be some level of personal pressure, having, continue to do well over the years. He's the world junior record holder. He's the national record holder, both senior and junior. But, as I say, this year, with what had happened, everything was in line to achieve what we hoped would have been a top 3 podium position this season. But it never happened. I mean, that's just, the sport, that's just life in itself. As I say, he has not shown that he is under much pressure, but he's young, he has ambition, and as I said, there's a lot of fan base, and he knows what is expected of him. So there can be some personalized thing that he doesn't show, but we are here as his team, and we try our best to ensure that he is as calm as we would have hoped for him to compete at his best every single time he steps out.
Coach, thank you so much. I know you're a busy man because you've got a lot of charges under your watch. Please convey our best wishes. Please tell Roshawn, wishing him the best. We are now going to step into a break. And when we come back, Richard is going to tell us more about from the fans' perspective.
I wanted to ask the coach one quick question before.
Please, Richard, one quick question.
Coach, I know your time is precious, but quick question. We're talking here about the getting inside the athlete's head and the issues of dealing with not realizing the level of success that you perhaps had planned as an athlete. Is there a sports psychologist that travels with a team at a big event such as this?
At this championship, I'm not seeing one. But as you know, athletes from time to time, they know what they need, and they would have put some things in place. So there are persons who will speak of their support team. Civil openly in a video clip that I saw on the internet, share off. I think it was Dr. I don't remember his name, but he's somebody that I know very well. I had somebody who worked with him, and just to say that, while we may not bring someone on the team, and sometimes what athletes don't really show much appreciation for the mental side of things, even though I believe it has its place and it is needed, and maybe it's something that we would want to maybe educate athletes a lot more about. So it is something that we embrace as an administration to include in part of the support team that travels with the teams to championships.
Coach, again, thank you so much. We're going to go to a break now. Roddy, we're handing it back to you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. You're listening to post-track analysis from our elite team of sportscasters. It is coverage of the World Athletics Championships. But right now, this one going out to our athletes.
Big dreams, strategic plans is my resolution. Focus, work smart is the only solution. Discipline, meditate, that's how I keep the balance. Energy up frequency, man I feel winning this a Gideon. Remember me to tell you me I gonna make it. Remember me to tell you me I gonna make it. Without a doubt the battle has been won. Remember me to tell you me I gonna make it. The risk big but me take it. Without a doubt the battle has been won. I have worked on my weakness, trying to maximize my strength. Cause if you don't stand firm in this sky, they will always try to make you bend. Remember me to tell you me I gonna make it. Remember me to tell you me I gonna make it. Without a doubt the battle has been won. Woo! Remember me to tell you me I gonna make it. The risk big but me take it. Without a doubt the battle has been won. I know them expect me to break. I can see it written on their face. But no matter how long it takes, I'ma steady my pace. My vibe them cannot bridge, can come between me and the beat. This journey I must complete, yes. Remember me to tell you me I gonna make it. Remember me to tell you me I gonna make it. Without a doubt the battle has been won.
The battle has been won. Even if you've not secured that podium finish that you've been asking for, once you've given off your best, then you can sleep well at night knowing that all is good with you and the effort that you had put in. Talking about the World Athletics Championships, to assess what's going on over there in Tokyo, we've got the man, Eroll Walters, Irie Jam Sports. We got Kemal, and Daniel, Omilia Sports. And they're giving you the highlights, the insights, the oversight as to what's happening over there in Tokyo. Gentlemen, it's right back with you.
Thank you very much, Roddy G. Thank you so much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're watching, good night, good morning, good afternoon. We now welcome Mr. Chad Wright. We have in our company the esteemed Richard Blackwood. You know, Richard needs an entire program for himself. But listen, this is a fireside talk. Chad, welcome to our fireside chat. Now, listen, you and the other discus throwers have probably had the longest break because your event is not until Friday. How are you?
Saturday for us, actually.
Saturday, yeah. What have you been doing with those other than coming out from under that table that Dacos threw at you?
Oh, I've been training. Just been training almost every day now. Just waiting for my time to compete.
Right. And Stephen Francis talked about the facilities. What is your take on the facilities and the warm-up era in relation to the stadium, and what are the athletes saying?
The distance is quite away because for the throwing area it's 45 minutes from the hotel.
Wow.
So you really have to plan your training sessions.
Yeah.
And
accordingly.
Right. And in comparison to other international events that you've competed at, have you had similar experiences, or is this the worst that you've had to date?
It's the furthest I've had to travel at a competition at this caliber to go and just train. And subsequently, it's also the warm-up area. So we have to travel 45 minutes to the warm-up area, warm up, then travel about half an hour to the stadium to compete.
So Kemal, sorry, go on. Go on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chad.
Daniel.
Yeah, Chad. How does it feel? Having the senior people also a part, because one of the things that Ian spoke about yesterday, that's Ian Forbes. We were talking to Ian Forbes yesterday. One of the things that he spoke about was the fact that there are senior members of the team and there are also a blend of senior and junior members of the team, right? How motivated do you feel? Or let me just change the question. How motivated do you feel based on the foot that Jamaica started with Oblique Seville and Kishane Thompson, right? Or Jamaica now has 5 medals. How motivated do you feel as you approach the discus event?
Do we not have 6 medals?
I'm highly motivated. I want a piece of the pie. Like one part of the film too. Everybody I get medal. I want one too.
Right.
Okay.
Sorry, Daniel, go on. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a fact then that because of the fact that Oblique Seville and everyone, they started off on a high. Does that give up like a vibe in the camp? Does it create like a whole buzz for say, hey, listen, let's go?
Yeah, the entire team is happy and high spirits. We have our designated table now for dinner.
Designated table.
Yeah, man. That table is our designated table at dinner.
So Chad, you're competing with some seniors now, but you've earned your spot here. How what is so your teammates, but you're also competitors. How do you balance that up? And as you said, everybody now feels that we can get medals. What is the rivalry like?
The rivalry is pretty much like a Calabar, where we want to see our teammates do well, but we have to make sure so we do better than them.
Right.
You want Calabar man?
Of course.
Richard, he's a Calabar man. You're a Kingston College man. How do you feel about it?
Let me, Chad. First of all, congratulations. It's big up. Is one of the few times in my life that I'm going to give Calabar man them all the props that they want. All the props, right? Oblique Civil started us off, and champs and schoolboy sports are one thing. When you put on the black, green, and gold, like Jamaica was saying, right? And so big up on yourself. Mark, don't take no only liberties still, but keep it going. Keep it going. Very well done.
Kemal, now what is Chad looking like in terms of a medal for a distance?
Listen, the momentum in Jamaican camp is very much good since yesterday. Jamaica has a lot of surprise medals in store. Women FNL should be able to be the one, be able to be one of those men to go there and just shot the world and win a medal. We have a good quality team in a good quality competition, and made the man with the better temperament, the man with the most patience actually in the day win a medal, because I definitely believe that anything is possible for Chad at this moment. Yesterday we didn't expect Orlando nor Tyler Mason to be on the podium, and look there they are.
But listen, but what distance do you think, based on the competition, based on what we're seeing in the Diamond League, all the
ideally on the day it supposed to be anything 70 meters and above, but we're seeing where men have been throwing 70 meters in the season. When it comes down to the championship, they probably end up throwing 68 high, 69. They are about a man to actually mount the podium. So somewhere in that ballpark, 65 from anywhere from 69 to 70 meters thereabout.
Chad, I know you want to throw it out of the park, but what is a distance that would make you very happy, and say, yes, I came and I did what I wanted to do?
Looking at the season I've had, I'd say anything over 67.5, I would be happy with in terms of my distance, regardless of where it places me. Granted, the main thing is to go for a medal. Make the finals, go for a medal. But that mark has been something for this season that me and my coach believe I can throw. I've gone close to it in training. The workout, the program has projected me to hit that mark, and due to injury, I got thrown off. So it's like being able to hit that mark that we had projected would be great.
Chad, you spoke about your season a while ago, and you spoke about injury. How much did this injury set you back, and what happened? What happened throughout the season?
It was in the latter part of the season that I got injured, and in my opinion, it has set me back greatly in terms of how I could train and the intensity I could train at, and the changes my coach had to make to my program that subsequently it pretty much messed me up on the back end prior to making world champs.
And I heard an interview with Tajay Gale, and he spoke about the same injury. I think it was a grade 2 hamstring tear or something of that sort that he spoke about. And then he also went into the fact that, hey, if he had he not win a medal here at World Championships, he don't know how it is that he would have keep up with financing himself throughout the following season, right? My question to you is, has this been an issue like right across the board in terms of throwers and field event athletes financially having to, go through it like that?
Yeah. Well, for most throwers, if not all, the financial burden is high. I'm fortunate enough that I have two jobs that I work, and the Ministry of Sports has given us health benefits that allows me to see a physio on a regular basis. So that has greatly helped with my finances. So I don't have to worry about paying for physiotherapy, especially when I had gotten the injury, because I had to constantly be there, constantly seeing the physio, constantly doing rehab. So having that health card had greatly helped me.
Two jobs, my brother, and you're doing throwing. How do you balance that?
I just do. Somehow I make it work.
Chad, so what would you say to Michael Johnson, because he has not included field events in Grand Slam? If you could speak to Michael Johnson right now and the other meet directors, because track and field, that's what it's called. It's not called track and field. What would you say to the big meat sponsors and even the shoe companies, because they don't see field events as sexy? What would you say?
Let's see. Wait, so you said they're putting field events in Grand Slam track?
They've not. They have not.
They've not.
They have not. And we believe field events should be added to Grand Slam. And I'm sure Richard is going to talk about that afterwards. But what would you say to Michael Johnson to get field events included?
He had made a decision that he could say track and field. He said track, not track and field. He said that. And he created the Grand Slam for that same reason. And his business model had shown great marketing power for the event. And I believe that he doesn't have to try and do both. Have them separate. Have a Grand Slam field events where it's just all field events. Or even Grand Slam throws, Grand Slam jumps. Have their own exclusive niche where they have 5 to 10 meets around the world. Or even add more field events to the Diamond League meets.
I wanna just put my 2 cents in here. The reality is that track and field, which is a sport, which is our sport, the track side is a lot sexier. It's a lot easier to sell and so on. And while I lift my hat to Michael Johnson, I think it doesn't do justice to the overall sport to sideline field events, because what you're doing is look at where we are with the pole vault. Look at where we are with some of the jumps and the throws. But in fact, remember at one stage they considered hurdles as field events as well, right? So I really believe that I think you kind of put Chad on the spot a little bit with that question, though, Eroll. But it's a fair question. I again lift my hat to you. 2 jobs to be competing at international level and be competitive to be able to make the world championships. It speaks a lot about who you are as an individual, and in terms of your own role at motivating a lot of our young people back home in Jamaica who are seeing the opportunities provided by field events. In fact, most of our medals, it appears, we have 6 medals, 3 came from the track. So it's equal, 3 from the field events as well. And so I think what we just need to do is to use our bully pulpit, yourself, Eroll, myself, those you guys who have access to media, to pressure the powers that be, certainly from a Jamaica perspective, to put more into the sport. Because really, when you tell me you have 2 jobs, I don't do no kind of sport and I work in 2 jobs. I can tell you that, right? But to be able to do that and be competitive and to be there representing Jamaica, again, lift my hat to you. A field events championships, I'm not sure how well that would fly. I'm not saying that it can't. I always believe bring it in as part of the track and field program, and so you give the fan base that double pleasure, track and field, because there are excellent field event athletes out there who are holding their own.
Chad, we just want to thank you for coming on to the show. We appreciate you. There's so much revelation. We had Orlando Bennett on last night, and he was telling us about, the idea of quitting, and him going to GC Foster to learn about biology in order to learn about himself, and I think the thing that my co-presenters and I have discovered. I'm sure Daniel knows this because he speaks to the athletes quite a lot. But what I'm learning is how much is done and how much sacrifice is made, and sometimes we have we are spoiled. We have this great expectations of you guys, but we do not give you as much credit as we should. Knowing when you say 2 jobs, I lift my hat to you, and I wish you and your teammates the best of luck, the best of the games, and the best going forward for the future. And we would love to have you on again when we do this again, because you are such an inspiration to the young people that are watching.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for having me. And it's been great talking to all of you and giving my insights on what's been going on.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, sir.
All the best, Chad. Blessings.
Yeah, bless.
Thank you.
Blessings, Chad.
So, Richard, what has your experience been like for the World Championships? What are your highs? What are your lows? What more are you expecting before Sunday when the curtains come down?
Listen, again, I go back. I'm a historian in terms of this thing. Following the sport from back in the 70s when we used to have these championships at the stadium. The different invitational and so on. So I've watched Jamaica come a very, very long way. When we started the dominance in 2004, because we actually started 2004, not 2008. 2008 was just a bully year. We enjoyed that run. At the end of 2016, when we, the World Championships the following year, 2017, I think we won 1 or 2 medals, if I remember correctly. We won a hurdles medal, and we had a bronze medal or something. So to see the build up as a fan, this is it's well, I literally have confined myself to my house because I don't want to miss something. And I use the opportunity to go back and look at the replays and so on, because it is just that scintillating to watch Jamaica, especially from the male standpoint, take back the sprint. That 1-2 is going to be talked about for decades to come, right? I genuinely believe too that what Oblique Civil has done is literally, well, Oblique and company, is to literally replant Jamaica's roots within the sprints. I expect that the next time we see Oblique running at a major championships, he's going to be running 1 and 2. I believe that, because I think he, whatever kinks he had, he has worked them out. He has demonstrated that he belongs at the top of the sport in terms of where he is, and so that is rejuvenating the energy for Jamaica track and field program all the way through. Champs next year is going to be something else. I know Calabar is going to be buoyed by the fact that they find themselves, a world champion, etc. And them own trying to rebuild their own sporting thing is going to be very, very significant. So there is a lot out there for Jamaicans. Our young women, keep something in mind. The 2 Claytons, Tina basically showed her worth already. But Tia is right there with her. I think she was just unfortunate that she had an injury at trials. But the two of them belong at this, at this point in the, as far as the sport is concerned. They are going to be the leaders of our female track over the next 10 years, if you will. And so and then you look behind and you see all of this field event athletes that are coming through. So it's no longer that once the track finish, we're not there. My expectation is that we should pick up another 3 or 4 medals by the end of the championships. There are some events that I'm looking forward to. Do I believe that Sydney McLaughlin, just to step away a little bit, can break this world record? But again, I'm not doubting her. She's a phenomenal athlete, so I'm looking forward to that 400. Do I believe that she can run left NASA and Paulina?
Paulina, yeah.
It's going to be worth the wait to watch that. But I believe that the way she ran yesterday, the way she looked easy, I'm kind of wondering if that catch record is going to be there at the end of this championship.
Daniel.
Yeah.
Daniel. So, from a fan perspective, do you think this game has delivered? Do you think Jamaica has come back and provided the entertainment that the fans were missing?
I do think that Jamaica has really provided us with some epic performances. I want to underscore what Richard said a while ago about that 1-2, a big motivation. As Chad said earlier on, he is highly motivated by that 1-2. I think we've been delivering in terms of medals, as you guys consistently state. 6 medals in the bag, 2 we weren't really expecting, but that silver and bronze were like victory for us as a nation, right? And Sherika Jackson hasn't touched the 200 as yet. That triple jump, Shanika Ricketts hasn't touched that as yet. 4x4 in the run yet. We have 4x1s are not on track as yet. So just thinking about what can possibly happen with that it just drives us to another level. And I want to say something, as I mentioned, Level. Brian Level looking very promising in that 200 meters. Like the interview that he did actually he actually stated that, hey, I didn't even know that I was going that fast. I literally shut off everything after 100 meters. I going into the straight. I did not do anything, and that goes to show the possibilities of what can happen, right? So you want to see Brian Level take on that semi-final, and you want to see him going to the final and deliver. Another thing, again, before I finish, I want to send a big congratulations to Tajay Gale winning that silver medal in the long jump, 8.33 meters, right? I mean, I was watching
8.34 to equally.
8.34
to equally season's best, and Gibson really also now he has a full set of world championship medals, gold, silver, and bronze now. 2019 gold, Doha 2019 gold, Budapest 2023 silver, and now, and Budapest 2023 bronze, and now Tokyo 2025 silver.
Yes, and with that whole thing, another thing is that Kemal Tajay Gale still has that world championship record of 8.69 meters.
Daniel,
right?
Daniel, I'm just going to ask you for 1 second. I want to remind our viewers on Irie Jam Radio platform that you resume Irie Jam Radio on the hour. So please join us on Omilia Sports, because we're going to continue this discussion. We have Richard Blackwood. He has a lot more to say because we want to hear from the fans' perspective. I have a lot more to ask Kemal because I want to know if what we're gonna do, if we're gonna double the medal count, and I know Daniel is gonna tell us some more exciting interviews that he's got lined up for the rest of the week. So all our viewers on the Irie Jam platform, jump over to the Omilia Sports platform because this discussion is going to continue. So, Richard, I'm back
Online at IrieJamRadio.com.
It's Irie Jam Radio Sports.
Sports Caribbean. Sports.
This is Irie Jam Sports, and I am Eroll Walters.
Next on the decks.
Irie Jam Radio Sports.
Richard, are you hearing us?
So
Yeah, man, I'm hearing
you
you.
made my day.
Sports Extra.
The World Athletics Championships in Tokyo.
And now sports commentaries.
I'm Eroll Walters. Tune in with Omilia Sports, Daniel, Jarrett, and Kemal Forde on Irie Jam Sports.
97 point.
Number 1.
Live coverage of the World Athletics Championship.
IrieJamRadio.com.
Turn up.
Tell someone about
The HD3. Irie Jam Radio.
We will be bringing you all the news, all the excitement, all the attractions.
Sports Extra with
Eroll Walters.
Irie Jam Radio.
Sports.
Tune in.
Irie Jam Radio Sports.
Cover. Richard, now
Yeah.
when you switched on the telly on Saturday, right? Yeah, I'm sure you wanted to see Seville do well, and we were expecting good things from Kishane. Now that we've had the double, the quinella, and that has now raised the mood in the camp. We now have 6 medals. What are your expectations for the rest of the?
Well, first of all, let me just say, you know, I've been from a fan perspective, you're following a lot of the commentators on the outside. You know, Oral Tracy, full argument, not really, not as substantive, but more speculative. Oblique had been running just far too good to not have been considered as a serious contender for this 100 meters. So I wasn't surprised that he won, right? Notwithstanding, you kind of a little bit degree of disappointment because Kishane, as a silver medalist from the Olympic Games, the expectation was, since him at the fastest time, that he would have, would have basically extended that into the World Championship. But from a fan perspective, it was just an amazing thing to watch. I mean, I almost had a heart attack watching Kishane being edged out at the Olympic Games. It took me almost the rest of the afternoon to recover from that. So to be able to have this experience where the roles are reversed and Jamaica reestablishes dominance, it is something as a fan. You live for stuff like this. I mean, I watch track and field from a long time before no phone about, right? May go back to 1969. At them time, I may watch track and field. So, you know, the expectation, and I don't believe in putting pressure upon the athletes, but 6 medals so far. The track events are not done yet. The relays are going to be very, very challenging, right? You know, I think we're in with a good chance in the 4x1. The 4x4, them boys are from down at Botswana. The Botswana have a team there, party. Let me tell you something. All when them give a jump, them still don't beat you. That's a mind.
Daniel, what do you make of the Botswana team? Or do you agree with Richard in terms of the 4x4?
The quality shows in the qualifications, right? 3 Botswanans are in the final for the 400 meters.
And look at the time. And look at the times that they are run to, Daniel.
Yes, and they're running some pretty decent times. What I can say, what I want to say though, when exactly is the 4x4? Which day is it?
4x4 is on Saturday, and I don't see Botswana winning though.
Yeah, because another thing is that I am considering is the fact that they would have gone through a bag of rounds, right? Like they have gone through rounds, and then as it relates to let's see Tobago, I don't think that he's at the top of his game. I honestly though, Kemal, do see Botswana winning due to the fact that I see them like this is the formula, right? They have come up with a formula for World Champs 2025. This is something that they have planned for. So they must have something that is there to present to the world in that 4x400 meters. So I still have them at the top of my podium. So really and truly looking forward to it. But the tired legs is something that we should also think about.
I don't think the tired legs necessarily going to be too much of a factor. They get 2 days to rest, but again, United States has been known to feel good 4x4s over the years in the sense that I know for sure that be good. They'll be gutting for that 4x4 title since the fact that most of their men have not made it through. Only Jacori partisans, when they think about the likes of Chris Bailey, Vernon Howard, Caleb McRae, Jonah McIver, Ryan Benjamin, even Chris Robinson as well as split 43 as well, possibly. But if Botswana wins, it wouldn't be surprising to me. But again, they will have some tough competition. I'm hoping that they don't leave all the work in Tobago's hands to run probably 45 3 thereabout to get them on the podium, to get them at the top of the podium. But I see US winning so far.
So are you saying it's a 2-horse race? You don't
It's
think
a
Jamaica with the form that we're seeing with Rashid McDonald and others, they can't play a role?
Actually, I do see Jamaica getting a medal in us.
I see Jamaica probably getting 4th when you look at compares to the British team. The British team has had good quality with people such as Charlie Dobson and Matthew also both men are capable of splitting under 44 and South Africa as well under 44 seconds on those legs. So it's going to be tough for Jamaica to medal.
I don't see Jamaica getting a medal in the 4x4.
Men and women, or just the men?
Just the men for the.
What about the women?
I don't see that either.
Kemal?
I want to play about this clip.
Yep.
So guys, I see Jamaica medaling in that 4x4.
For men and women, or just the men?
For men. I would have to double check the women.
The women would be a bit safer to me when compared to the men, but you know, we move.
Right, Kemal. So we're 6 medals now, right? Based on what you're seeing in terms of the qualification for the finals, if you were a betting man, what kind of tally would you be comfortable with on Sunday morning or Sunday at the closing ceremony?
I'd say 10.
10. Daniel?
That's 2.
You would have to ask me that tomorrow, Eroll. And I never tally medals at championships. I never do that.
Is that because you think it's a bogey, or?
Yeah, I think it's something that I'm always open to just hearing how many medals we get. To be honest, I can tell you what event I expect them to get a medal in, but to come up with a total, I don't know. I just feel like there are unexpected ways in which we can get a medal. Shine Salmon is in that 400 hurdles. I mean, it's going to take her a personal best, so to speak, to actually medal. But the mere fact that you're in a finals, it's a possibility that you can get a medal. So, I've been surprised too many times to put a total on that medal.
Richard, we heard Chad talk about 2 jobs. What can the country do, and what do you think that should be done in terms of these athletes if we want them to be fully prepared, more prepared for these games?
I'm gonna step back a little. One of the things that Jamaica spent a piss pot load of money on track and field, right? And they spend that money from the junior level. Champs, for example. But when you look at the cumulative expenditure for school teams to enter championships, the collectively schools spend more than $10 billion a year preparing their teams for championships. That's a hell of a lot of money. A lot of it comes through the old boys, old girl, or past students association, and so on. But you look at the kind of investment that goes into track and field at the junior level, at champs level, and then you look at how Jamaica benefits from that, because 6 medals at World Championships from a Jamaica team, that is not exactly, it's not a, we're not, I don't want to say we're not shaking up the sport, but the advertising that comes to Jamaica for its athletes doing well is a phenomenal amount of advertising that you don't have to pay for, right? And so from that perspective, I really believe that as a country, we need to do better for these athletes, right? You can't have athletes, who are putting so much out, because it's a job for them, right? And there isn't funding somewhere in place. So maybe a percentage of the money where we put behind, school sports, need to peel some of that into the thing. We need to look at the Sports Development Foundation, or they do their job, and so on. The sponsors now stand up to the benefits that them get from the sport. I think when you look at how much the sponsors of some of these athletes get in terms of the mileage they get from the athletes that they sponsor, the expenditure don't match the exposure, right? And I think Jamaica really need to take a much more serious approach. Sports is big business. It is the one aspect of Jamaica and its development where our young people, we are always of the view that it is the young people that is going to carry the country to the next level. Well, the sports is where we started. I don't believe that we're doing it. Seriously.
And so Kemal, when we look at the performances and we see the sacrifices that are being made, when you compare that to other countries, for instance, like United Kingdom, that has a lottery fund that they, give to the developed athletes, yet United Kingdom is way below Jamaica on the table, So, what do you say to our government that we're punching way above our body weight?
Yeah, I mean, I do believe that a lot more interest should be taken in sports, especially track and field, where Jamaica is basically showing that we're not just a track country, a track and field country, and I've always said that field is in all caps. Yeah, a lot more can be done as it relates to funding and investment from various entities to corporate Jamaica, where we can see a need where Kerry Kids now has produced, Tajay Gale now, who left MVP now, moved there. He has his wife, Shanika Ricketts, who is a medal prospect as well. Again, a lot more needs to be done when it comes down to investment in time, not only just time, but lots of resources, machinery, and just overall sporting development. Have a level of a succession plan, really, in the sense that, hey, we have a detailed plan to see how we can ensure that Jamaica continues to produce some of the best athletes, both locally and internationally.
Daniel, how many athletes have we lost because we have not been able to support them in a financial way? How many talents do we lose by the wayside?
Too many.
Quite a few. We've really lost quite a few talents. I mean, because of injuries, some of them. I used to train with a lot of really talented persons. Adolphus Nevers. I used to train with Kwesi McFarlane, Ronald Levy, being also an individual. Quite a few athletes who would have been extremely talented. Winston Barnes. You guys remember Winston Barnes from Jamaica College? Yeah. Right? These persons are a lot. Like, quite a few. But I also wanted to, I forgot what I wanted to comment on, But really and truly, as it relates to financial support, oh yes, yes, at the Grand Slam, I heard you guys mention something about Britain, right? I was speaking to Dina Asher Smith at the Grand Slam and in Kingston. And Dina mentioned the fact that, it was such a pleasure to see that Jamaica finally gets something. She said, and she was alluding to the fact that we had a new track. That's the rebranding of the track and all of that.
Overlay track.
Yes. So she was referring to the fact that, like Jamaica deserves it all because we've produced athletes, and she mentioned Shelley and Fraser Price. She mentioned Usain Bolt, who have not only impacted Jamaica and the Caribbean, but also would have impacted the world, right? Track and field on a whole propel the sport forward. So it's about time that Jamaica start getting good things too. You get me? And right away, throughout that year, I started thinking, and I'm like, whoa, yeah, Jamaica really needs a lot of things. And bam, I heard that we're going to be re-establishing the stadium or something of that sort. And I think that is something that is also commendable. So at the end of the day, another thing that I want to allude to again before I end, Eroll, is that I was listening to Bruce James today, and one of the things is that where resources are low, people should consider collaborating and coming together to share resources, right? So Bruce James said that one of the impressions that Jamaicans have is that these track clubs, the racers, the MVP, elite, and all these track clubs, one of the impressions that Jamaicans have is that these are rivals and, one club doesn't talk to the other. But he made it very clear that each club support each other. So even though Tajay Gale would have left MVP to go to the track club that Kemal spoke of, they are still in communication. It was actually an agreement based on what I understand that Bruce James was speaking about, that they had, that we're still going to be a part of his career, but it's best that he trains here, right? And Bruce James basically mentioned a lot of names, saying that, we play a role in the life of this athlete as well. We play a role in the life of this athlete as well. So all the clubs in Jamaica, even though we have very few resources here, they come together to support each other. And that, I think, is very commendable.
Richard.
I want to make this point because we kind of shift the conversation and look at structure and development. The National Stadium is actually 71 years old, right? 71 years old. That stadium, putting on a track on the stadium is like basically shaving a dead dog, right? Our reality is that for Jamaica's impact on global track and field over the years, remember we've been doing this thing from 1948 in Bridget, right? We've been doing this thing for 75 years, and we it's not like we just tiptoeing into the sport. 75 years, Jamaica should be floating a bond, right? For 10 billion or 20 billion US dollars to build a sporting facility out in St. Catherine, right? That can cater to the needs of the country and with something that we can grow in over the next 20 or 30 years. A facility that caters to all of the sport. And out of that bond, you are then putting aside funding to contribute to the development of different aspects of the sport. We don't need for the government to spend money to build a stadium. But if you create the environment, the kind of environment that says to investors who have the money, come at Jamaica, put your investment in there, 10, 20 years tax-free, right? And then you say to corporate sponsors, you sponsor different sections of the stadium. That's how you keep that kind of thing running. And then you can attract big meets to come to Jamaica that contribute to the livelihood of the athletes. Athletes not supposed to be at a world championship level and run 2 jobs. That makes no sense. That is an embarrassment. We have a minister of sports who's supposed to be in a wheelchair right now. At 80 years old, we not take nothing from Miss Babsy. Me love her like cook food, but me think her time done. Right? We need a sports minister that understand the sport, that understand the environment where we're in. That somebody where people have not the respect for and the time for and who understand that they can look 5, 10, 15 years down the road. Because right now we're doing a joke business with them.
So
we
Richard,
are successful because, in spite of, not because of. Yeah.
So Richard, I asked a question because it makes financial sense, right? But why has it not been looked at, taken up? Because a simple bond, right? We know that the returns are there, and so why has not corporate Jamaica? Why hasn't external investors come
because
together?
Jamaica, in terms of how we look at it, Jamaica and its development, economic development. Jamaica is like a saltfish, rice and flour kind of environment. Everybody want trade. You can buy and sell something. Jamaica has not made any meaningful investment in the development of its human capital. If you look back at our school system where only 20% of the youngsters are past CXC, it tells you that we are failed, right? It tells you that 80% of our young people that are coming through the school system, the system pay lip service. If we are serious about our people, about developing our young people, we put that bond together and we start to look not 5 years, which is a political term, but we look 15 and 20 years, right? The problem with us in Jamaica is that our leadership don't have the ability to look beyond 5 years, which is a political term. And the business community are them just as bad.
So, Kemal, if we were to seriously go down that path and invest, where would you see our athletes, and do you see us challenging the likes of the Benjamins and the Warholms because we've put that investment in?
Listen, Jamaica can be the type of country that can be able to both clean sweep on the track, in the jumps, and in the throws. Jamaica has more than enough potential to do that once the considerable amount of investment is made not only in cash and resources but also time and in training. That a lot of coaches are being trained because we have the coaches and everything. We have the likes of the Steve Francis, the Glenn Mills and everything, but obviously they're getting a lot older and everything. We need a lot more younger person, as Richard alluded to. Again, like respect to all those persons that have paved the way, but again, a lot of those knowledge should be able to be transferred now to younger generation with other coaches, even within the same facilities per se, to understand that Jamaica, when they themselves decide to retire, depart from this earth, Jamaica will, if Jamaica does decline, the decline will not necessarily be significant as before, because I think it took a long while for Jamaica to actually mount the podium again in the men's 100 meters, like 7 years. Actually, if we're looking at the Olympics, man, like from Usain Bolt bronze medal in 2017, 7 years to Shane Thompson's silver medal, just medaling overall. Took us a long while to be back on the podium. But Jamaica we don't want to be back in this situation. We want a situation where a lot of investment is made from funding for coaches, funding for a lot of these clubs, just resources and so forth, and understand that, hey, all of us as a country, we are one and we all have one goal, which the aim is to actually make these championship teams and win season after season.
Daniel, so you mentioned Bruce James talking about collaborative, but at the same time, what we're not seeing is succession planning, because clubs are springing up, as we saw, Sprint Tech and the others. But why are we're not seeing them? So people still are talking about Glenn Mills and Oblique. Are there youngsters in his team that are understudying him, or are these guys just saying, "Listen, I'm doing it my way, and when I die, everything goes." Even though I know a lot of these coaches have worked with him, but sometimes I hear like they've left because they feel like that
All
they're not.
right. All right, Eroll, I used to train at MVP, and I know what the environment is like at many of these clubs. Ronaldo Walcott's club. I know what the environment is like at Racers. I know what the environment is like over by even Okeile. I know what the environment is like over by GC Foster. I know what the environment is like, right? And so there is no one coach at these clubs. I mean, yes, there's a head coach, right? But at an MVP, for example, you have coaches like Coach Clarke. You have coaches like Miss Shaniki Osborne. You have coaches like Ronaldo Walcott who have passed through the camp. There are Kingsley. Kingsley is also there at UTEC. Quite a number of coaches that work with Steve Frana Francis. Quite a number of coaches that work with Glenn Mills. Quite a number of coaches that work up by GC Foster College. And these don't only consist of older men. These are also younger people. So yes, there are younger people who are benefiting from the knowledge that is possessed by these coaches and are now, if not staying at the club, they are opening their own clubs. And that in and of itself, I think, is a succession in and of itself, rather, right? So I think that is a succession. I think that is something that we can look forward to in the future. So when it is that we see a coach leave a club to go and create their own, that is something that is positive for Jamaica for now and also for the future.
I want to speak to that, though, Daniel. I take your point because it does speak to some succession. But I have a pretty good friend, long-standing friend, who is connected with racers. One of the things you guys do this every day, but to support a club is not a cheap undertaking, and so the funding is always going to be a problem if you have athletes that are not winning, not getting, participating in international competition, which brings in revenue. You could be up against the wall, right? But it's good to know that the succession is there. My problem is, and my concern really is about institutionalizing this thing, right? How much of the efforts that is being invested is being documented? How much of it becomes available? I know GC Foster, a lot of our track and field success in Jamaica is due to GC Foster, because that's what produced the coaches some 20, 30 years ago that the system is now benefiting from. Our high schools now most schools have 3 or 4 coaches, which is a great thing. But the long term is what we're looking at. Remember, 3,600 athletes go to champs every year, but only about 60 of them will end up being considered for some kind of team, junior or otherwise. And out of that 60, maybe another 20 or so will eventually make it into the senior program. So there's a lot of attrition that comes through the cohort that start out at the junior level to get into the senior program. And the problem is institutionalizing that so that we have the continuity that Kemal talked about earlier.
All right, real quick, Richard. I wanted to tackle that because one of the things is that I've heard a lot of stories, and this was when I was at MVP as well, right? I've heard a lot of stories as it relates to how MVP started, right? How it is that they did their thing and contributed to where they are now. One of the things is that yes, I agree that one of the things is that we need the financial support. We need to have goals and objectives set and all of those stuff. But one of the things that I want to appreciate as well is that time these type of stuff, they take time, they take resources, and I'm not only talking about money. I'm talking about human resources. I'm talking about individuals who would possibly be there to provide any form of support. So yes, these stuff are lacking, but I mean, a coach leaving a club, going to create their own. I believe that they're starting from zero. They're starting from zero in terms of their resources, and the only thing that they have is the guidance and the appreciation, or the support rather, of where they're coming from, and how it is that they leverage that support to propel themselves forward, to propel their own clubs forward, and to assist their athletes to do well, so that they can get similar support, right? That these MVPs and these racers would get, so that they can reach to that level. How it is that they do that can be determined over time, but yeah, man. I believe that over time we will start seeing these persons getting the type of support that they deserve, in a similar way that an MVP, a racers, a GC Foster College, in a similar way that all of these persons get the type of support.
Kemal, you're gonna have the second to last word, and then Richard, you're gonna take us out. So Kemal,
Yeah, final points on me. I think overall a lot more needs to be done. This championship should open a lot of eyes from both the government and corporate Jamaica's point. I'm do hoping that a lot of the athletes, agents, and coaches, persons around them try their best to actually invest more in a lot of these athletes' careers to ensure that a lot more is done regarding sponsorship and help and everything. Because as Jamaicans, you say, every mickle make a muckle, and a whole, so a little sponsorship here and there, whether it might be for food or that might be for even paying for transportation, putting gas in a vehicle and everything to go to Trinity to alleviate these expenses. Because as a world class athlete, or an athlete is on the way to basically making big waves in the sport, it should not be in a position where we're worrying about things, or worrying about any form of expenses that you as an athlete cannot pay per se. So definitely a lot more needs to be done, hoping that from a governmental standpoint and a corporate standpoint, a lot of persons jump on.
Richard, I leave you have the final word, sir.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with Kemal more. We love to make the argument that Jamaica punches significantly above its weight, but we need to put some investment behind that. I really believe that the infrastructure, or the stadium that we have, is a disgrace. While we're gonna have to make do with it, instead of trying to spend $2-3 billion to refurbish that, where the place don't have no parking, it's in the middle of the city, it's just an absolute God Almighty nightmare to go there to get anything done. Let's build a brand new stadium somewhere, and we don't need to put that burden on the taxpayers. Once we have the track record as a country, a track and field country, to be able to attract multinational investors to come in and get that done. We have enough private sector companies in Jamaica that are doing phenomenally well, that can sponsor stands in the stadium, that again are corporate tax write-offs. So you're getting these people to be part and parcel of the exercise. We need to do more for our athletes. It can't be that after we finish Sunday, when the track and field program is finished, half of the athletes them go home and them not have nothing to do. Them not have no source of income, or if them get sick, them running a trouble in terms of how to pay the bills. We have to do better than that.
Richard, I want to thank you for coming on and being our special guest tonight. As always, your insight, your the value that you bring to these discussions are enlightening, and we would definitely gonna have you back, because I'm sure that Daniel and you will cross swords again because I love the fact that the older generation and the older generation, you and I, the Daniel's generation, that Daniel has been in the system and he's understand, but he also understands from our point of view that we've been seeing it for a long time and we've been hearing the same thing over and over again. And but listen, this is what the discussion is all about. It's to bring the discussion to the fore so that it gets to the ear of those that are the decision makers, because at the end of the day, what is most important, and as Stephen Francis said, the athlete's well-being is the most important thing.
Absolutely.
So, gentlemen, I want to thank you. It's been wonderful. Daniel, I'm sure while you're here, you're always on the phone trying to see who you're going to bring on tomorrow.
Who are you bringing tomorrow?
I'm trying to get Tyler Mason. I'm trying really, really hard, but boy, it's rough. I'm not getting through to him.
Here's the thing, Daniel. When they're celebrating and they have to earn their keep. So obviously their sponsors, if they have sponsors, will be having them all. I've seen Oblique all over the place now, and it's wonderful, and he's actually enjoying it. So kudos and credit to him. Listen, and that is why I appreciate Richard, because we knew Chad Wright was coming in. Okeile, we didn't, and the moment I made the call to Richard said, Eroll, I'd love to come and join you. And Daniel, you've been absolutely incredible with the athletes you've been bringing on.
Because, I want to say this, Eroll, to Daniel, because it's really great having younger people who are taking the kind of role. I'm really impressed with the way you have conducted this program, Daniel. And to know. Because you see my passion for the sport. I mean, I follow it a long time. So to know that people like yourself is out there in the wings, and keeping a keen eye and that sharpness, I'm encouraging you to keep it going, right?
Thank you so much.
I'm looking forward to just sharing with you guys over the next couple of days as we get towards the end of the championship. So feel free, just give me a little heads up, and I'll always be on the program.
And Daniel, please get Richard on Omilia Sports. Richard is an artist, an author. So he's in that space, culture, it's sports and culture. So he has a story for all to hear. So I'm gonna hook you up after this show so that you guys can make it happen. So, gentlemen, again, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for this riveting conversation. I'm sure our viewers were enlightened. They were taught. They were, informed. And we can't wait to do it all again tomorrow. So, good night and stay blessed. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
man.
Blessings.
Online at IrieJamRadio.com.
It's Irie Jam Radio Sports.
Sports Caribbean. Sports.
This is Irie Jam Sports, and I am Eroll Walters.
Next on the decks.
Irie Jam Radio Sports.
So excited, you made my day.
Sports Extra.
The World Athletics Championships in Tokyo.
And now sports commentaries.
I'm Eroll Walters. Tune in with Omilia Sports, Daniel, Jarrett, and Kemal Forde on Irie Jam Sports.
97 point
Number 1 HD3
live coverage of the World Athletics Championship.
IrieJamRadio.com.
Turn up.
Tell someone about
97
The HD3 Irie Jam Radio.
We will be bringing you all the news, all the excitement, all the attractions.
Sports Extra with
Eroll Walters.
Irie Jam Radio.
Sports.
Tune in.
Irie Jam Radio Sports
Coverage.